Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about why you should become a bone marrow donor um, and why it's important. Imagine that you or a loved one is diagnosed with some form of a blood cancer or a blood disease, and nobody in your family is a match for that. No friends, no cousins, siblings, parents, nobody's a match. So your last resort would be to go to bethematch.org, which is an online donor registry. A lot of doctors tend to go to that first. And as soon as you start looking for a donor, you find a match. And this person, who could be across the country, agrees to be your donor. A complete stranger just saved your life. I myself am a donor, and it took me a total of about 5 minutes, that's including paperwork and everything, for me to sign up for this registry. A transplant it's giving that person who doesn't have any hope, who doesn't have anywhere to turn, it's giving them a second chance. Only about 30% of people who have a blood disease will have a match. That is leaving 70% of people with no match in their family or no match in their friends, and their last resort would be to go to a registry. How to become a blood marrow donor is going to be very easy. First thing you do is you go to a blood drive, or you go to like a hospital, or to bethematch.org, and what will happen is they will give you little Q-tips that look like this. This form of it is going to be like a toothbrush. It's going to have little bristles on it, and you'll put it in your mouth and you'll swab the inside of your cheek for 30 seconds on both sides. So that's 1 minute total. And then they will ask you a series of questions about your medical history, if you've had anemia, autoimmune disorder, cancers, anything that could still be in your genes or in your DNA. They will also do a physical exam if you were a match for someone. If they call you in to do to donate, they will do a physical exam. For the first way to donate would be through your blood, which they will put 2 needles in both of your arms, and they will pull blood out, and it'll go through a machine, and that machine will filter out your blood, and it'll take out the blood forming cells. It'll keep those and then put the rest of the blood back in through your other arm. It's completely sterile and completely safe. You won't even really feel any side effects. You might get a little nauseous or woozy, but that only lasts for a little bit. 5 days before they do that, they will have you inject yourself daily with flimgastrin, which is a medication that increases your number of blood-forming cells. The second way would be the actual marrow donation, which is a surgical procedure, so you'll have to go into a hospital, and they will put you under anesthesia, and they will stick needles into your pelvic bone, and they will withdraw the liquid bone marrow out of your bone. Recovery days for the person donating, if you are doing it the surgical way, it's normally 1 to 7 days. It really just depends on the person, but it's normally within that range. For a person that is getting the bone marrow, it could take them 30 to 100 something days to recover. So now that you know how to become a bone marrow transplant, the question is why donate? Well, put yourself in that person's shoes. What if you have no hope? You have nobody to turn to. Wouldn't you want somebody to step in and save your life when it's so simple? It takes 5 minutes out of your day. And it gives hope to somebody who doesn't have that hope. They don't have that chance at a healthy, long life the way that we do. And there's no way that it's gonna permanently damage you at all. It's so easy to come back from. The story of how Be the Match came to be was the Graves family had a little girl, and her name was Laura. She was 10 years old and got diagnosed with leukemia, but nobody in her family was a match. So she was the very first person ever to receive a transplant from somebody that was not a relative. And that gave the Graves family the idea to start the registry. So in 1979 was when the first successful donation was given from a non-relative. Another story that I found to be very encouraging and inspirational would be about this little girl named Clara. And Clara was born on April 14th in 2010. Her donor, John, had registered with Be the Match on May 1st in 2010. Clara was only 17 days old at the time that he had registered. And he registered because he was at a football camp and it was a campaign that they were doing. And so he just said, why not? Let's do it. When Clara was 4 months old, she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, or AML, and her form was extremely high risk because of infection. And John was a perfect match. He was a 10 out of a 10. Indicators and markers like blood type and stuff that didn't completely matter to be a match. They could have figured a way to do it without. He was completely a match for her, and he agreed to do it. So he donated his blood, and Clara's body accepted the donation right away. It was so fast that even the doctors were kind of questioning if it was real, because they were not sure of what was really happening. And so they finally were able to tell Clara's family that the donation had worked, and now Clara is a healthy little kid, and she speaks to John very often. They even flew out because he was in New York and they were in California, and they were able to fly out and go and meet him. An average of 520 transplants take place every month. That's 17 every single day. 17 people getting new hope for life. With just a swab of your cheek, you would be able to save a life and to give a person a second chance at a happy ending.